Aljamain Sterling. The headlines today are filled with his name because recently the MMA Junkie came out and said that Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw was close to being finalized for UFC 279, and Aljamain Sterling responded to that post and said, "This isn't true, I'm not fighting TJ Dillashaw," and everyone was confused, and I thought to myself, this is because he doesn't want to be bullied into signing a contract. He wants to renegotiate and get more money for himself for that matchup in what could be the co-main event of Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic at UFC 279. Then Aljamain Sterling went on his YouTube channel and posted a video breaking down why he hasn't yet signed the contract, and he believes he is worth more than the UFC is paying him, and he wants more money. However, I believe that Aljamain Sterling is not worth as much as he thinks he is, and I also believe that the UFC is paying him more than he is worth. Hear me out, okay? I was in my live chat, and I was seeing all of this stuff coming out about Aljamain Sterling saying that he feels like he's worth more and he wants more money, and I watched his video and he said he was breaking down how he doesn't feel like he's getting paid enough as a champion and he wants more, and then there's comments on his post in the Instagram comments of him even breaking it down on there, and even in the YouTube comments as well, saying that champions in the UFC should be paid 1 million flat and nothing less. It's the least they deserve, and Aljamain is like praising those comments and stuff like that, replying saying something about yesterday's worth is not today's worth, or yesterday's price is not today's price. So he wants to renegotiate himself, and he wants to maybe earn close to that number at least as a champion. And then I noticed the numbers on Aljamain Sterling's YouTube page and Aljamain Sterling's Instagram, but I noticed his YouTube page first because I spend a lot of my time on YouTube because I have a YouTube channel, okay? So I went over to Aljamain Sterling's YouTube page, the bantamweight champion of the UFC. Okay? His Instagram has a following of 425,000 followers. Okay? I went over to his YouTube page first, however. I'm not joking, on average, 10 times the views of Aljamain Sterling, the UFC bantamweight champion of the world. I'm a 23-year-old man living in a shed in my garden. Okay? I still live with my parents. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm 23, I'm from London, and it's real expensive. It's like New York for my American viewers watching right now. I'm close to the center, and it's real expensive to try and move out. I get 10 times the views of Aljamain Sterling. And I watched the view count of his video breaking down why he believes he is worth more than he is and why he has not signed to fight TJ Dillashaw. And the bantamweight UFC champion of the world has received 1.4 thousand views in 7 hours. This is the UFC bantamweight world champion responding to the news coming out of the UFC bantamweight world champion Aljamain Sterling having a fight being announced and close to being made. He himself is reacting to the news of his fight being announced. He got there before me by many hours because I assume he knew that it was soon to be announced, that something was going on. He got there. Realistically, if I go to my channel right now to when I posted my reaction of my video on my channel, breaking down that news, he posted it close to 7 hours ago. I posted mine just over 2 hours ago. So in realism, he got there 6 hours really before I did. Maybe 5.5 hours before I did. He was hot on the news. And that video has received, in 7 hours, close to 8 hours, 8 hours now, after I just refreshed it, so it probably is about 6 hours before I got to making the video, 1.4 thousand views. My video has got 2.9 thousand views. I'm in my shed. He's the UFC bantamweight champion reacting to the news of his own fight being announced. He got there just under 6 hours before I did. He's the UFC bantamweight world champion. I know it doesn't say it if you go on my page right now. It'll probably say something like, I don't know what number it is, but right now it's showing me 1.8. But when I go into the analytics, it shows me 2.9 because it doesn't update it on point when you post it for the first few hours. The number's actually way higher than it shows on the YouTube page because I don't want to waste time updating it. That's ridiculous to me. So I was thinking to myself, okay, Aljo's just posted on his YouTube channel recently. He hasn't had his YouTube channel for very long, so whatever. And I start looking at, like, I wonder what, like, if he talks about someone else, what goes on there? Behind the scenes at the Joe Rogan podcast, he has behind the scenes footage of he himself going on the Joe Rogan podcast. The biggest podcast in the world. 4.7k views. 13 days of being uploaded. Full day in the life. 1.8 thousand views. If I got these numbers, I would cry because my channel would have died. Him reacting to Cater versus Emmett coming up this weekend. 9 hours ago. 464 views. A 40-minute podcast with an official setup and everything. I go to his Instagram page and I think to myself, okay, the YouTube numbers are low, but let me go to his Instagram page. And of course, he posted a video of him talking about Zabit when Zabit KO'd him in sparring, and that's got a lot of likes. It's got like 5,000 likes, 6,000 likes between that number. And I start looking at the other posts. 8 hours ago, nothing as official with Dillashaw. 964 likes. 425,000 followers. 846 likes. And I respect Aljo because he didn't pull a race card or do any victim stuff like that, but he's talking nonsense on how much he's worth. Okay? Someone said, dog, Uncle Dana ain't paying no brothers, trying to make it a race thing. And Aljo even responded and said, what would you call Izzy and Usman? Like, they're getting paid. I feel like I deserve to get paid. Izzy and Usman are people who get thousands and thousands of likes on their post. That's the difference. I respect Aljo for not making it about race. Well done, Aljo. It was very easy to do. A lot of people resort to that nowadays. You didn't. I respect you. And I think you're one of the better talkers in MMA. And I think you have a good job on the analyst desk once you're done. But the fact is, you don't get any interaction. 2.6k likes on a picture of him, the get back, sweating in training, getting ready for a fight again. 2.6k likes 2 days ago. A picture of him and his team 6 days ago. Big fights coming up, contender series. We're coming for that peach. And it's him and Ray Longo and Ally Quinter. Arms over each other. 2,000 likes. Beneil Dariush is considered a loser. His last post on Instagram, his last picture, got 25.8 thousand likes. He has a fraction of the following that Aljamain Sterling has. Before that, 11.7. Before that, 27.5. 40k. I go to Jack Tank Shaw. And I look at his last picture. Fair enough, it was a fight announcement. But this is Jack Shaw. Not even ranked in the bantamweight division. 3.8k likes. He hints at fight news coming up soon. 3k likes. More likes for Jack Shaw, 43k followers, than Aljamain Sterling reacting to his own fight news breaking. Andre Fialho. I know he's just fought, but still. Unranked. Now 2-2 in the UFC. His last post that he posted 3 days ago. 16,000 likes. Like, Davison Figueiredo is at even numbers with Aljamain Sterling. More. He's not... Aljo is really worth nothing. He really isn't worth anything to the UFC, and this is the delusion that a lot of fighters need to start getting out of their heads. You aren't worth anything, man. Like, I'm sitting here in my shed, like, tenfolding your numbers. You're beating me to the news of your own fight being announced as a UFC Bantamweight World Champion, and you're getting a fraction of the views. What can I say? Like, that's not even me brushing my ego. I'm a very small channel. I have no stardom. I haven't been recognized in life yet. I'm a very small channel. I'm way outperforming you, man. So you're probably looking for $1 million to show. The company will go bankrupt paying you that. You might be looking for pay-per-view shares. Fair play, you arguably should get pay-per-view shares. You've put yourself and signed a fight, or looked to sign a fight and get a fight done, on the Jones versus Miocic card. If you think that they're going to pay you 5% of all of the pay-per-views that John Jones versus Stipe Miocic sells, you're delusional. Settle for like a $500K, win that fight on that spotlight of a card, and then start looking to renegotiate, or put yourself on a smaller card and look for pay-per-view shares. Because I'm just going to say this, man. If so far, in 8 hours of you posting it on your Instagram page, 964 people like a post for free. That's a free interaction. 964 people like a post of you talking about your fight being announced against TJ Dillashaw. How many are paying $80 to watch you fight on a pay-per-view? It's not more than that. It's not more. It really isn't more than doing something for free when it's $80 to pay for it. I think a lot of fighters need a reality check, man. They really do. Like, there's a KSW guy, Roberto Soldich. He's on Instagram. He's a KSW champion. He's a big name outside the UFC. His last picture on his Instagram got 27.1 thousand likes. Aljo's are struggling to hit 1,000. Struggling to, like, if he beats 5K, that'll be crazy. I've got a friend in life, a close friend, who is just a popular person. I'm not over-exaggerating this at all. This is the truth. He is not famous. He does nothing job-wise to get fame. He works a retail job, and he doesn't have any popularity from that job whatsoever. He just goes out on the weekends, and he's reasonably popular. As a person, in social groups, not on the internet, not from anything else, he works a simple job and just goes out on the weekend and parties. He has more likes on his Instagram posts than Aljamain Sterling does. If he got 1,500 likes on an Instagram video, he'd feel bad about it. And you are the UFC Bantamweight World Champion. I think a lot of fighters need to hear this. The way to get paid if no one gives a shit about you, which it's very obvious they don't, is to stay active and get that cash in. And if you stay active, people will start to care about you like they did for Andre Fialho, who outperforms you on his own Instagram, even though he's 2-2 in the UFC welterweight division. Then you can start renegotiating for more money. Put the numbers in. Something hurts me when I see these guys asking for more money, and I'm thinking, okay, let me check the numbers. And, like, you're not even, like, high school popular in terms of the number of likes you get. I remember being in secondary school when Instagram was popping. Okay? And people were getting more likes than Aljo gets now on their posts. The popular people in my school, of just the year group, the popular kids of the school, were getting more likes than the current UFC Bantamweight champion, who has been in the UFC. I mean, seriously, think of the numbers. I'm reading you. A picture of himself 2 days ago. The Get Back. 2.6k likes. Aljamain Sterling is 32. Okay? He has been in the UFC. He's 21-3. He has been in the UFC as a promotion since 2014. 8 years. He has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 wins in the UFC if you count the first Yan win. 2k likes. Again, I've got a friend in life who's just a popular party goer. More than that, man. How many are buying to watch you fight? $80. They aren't. That's the answer. And fighters need to hear this before they start doing, I deserve 1 million for a fight. Like, where's my pay-per-view shares for Jones Miocic? Jones Miocic! The UFC is going to say, oh, Aljo brings value with his not even 1,000 likes on a post discussing his own fight. I think fighters need to realize, dude, get back in there. And then fight again that year. You're fighting in September? Fight again in December. Because clearly having a belt ain't even giving you value in terms of your life. Like, it's not adding value to you. You got paid, what, 450k was the number they released that you got paid? You bring 2k free interactions, let alone what people... Let's assume that they give double and they pay double. 4,000 people will buy a pay-per-view for you. I'm giving you double what you actually bring in on free interactions on your Instagram compared to people paying $80 to watch you fight live. You bring 4k pay-per-view buys. 400,000. It's interesting to me. The mindset of these... Like, you see the numbers, Aljo. Come on now. Let's get in there, fight Dillashaw in a big co-main event of Jones Miocic, have a good performance, and then play these games. Because this ain't going to end well. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Like, it just needs to be said, man. These guys are not known. Like, that is... The numbers I'm reading you are not lies. They aren't fake numbers. You got Cage Warriors champions performing similar numbers on their Instagram pages to the UFC Bantamweight World Champion. And all of the fans that are on his page saying, you tell him, you stick it to the man. They don't even watch you. Clearly not. All the people on these ESPN posts when Aljo talks about money and ESPN MMA posts about it. And these posts get like 10,000 likes of people saying, Aljo deserves more. Start fucking interacting with his posts desperately, or he's never going to get more. Alexander Volkanovski is considered a dull, boring champion. And if he started asking for more money, people would laugh at him. They really would. And he gets 30k likes, him and a rugby team, 28k likes on his post about his fight coming up, 18k of just a random fight before that as well. Night and day compared to Aljo. Aljo, man, you got to get your value up by fighting more often, because this negotiation game, and I guess we'll fight in November and I'll try and renegotiate again. Someone in his team tell him, please, he's worth nothing. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.